slide if you'd be so kind as to see what you think so far. There's no references on it. My name's Williamson. I'm studying cognitive eye movements in the cinema under Dr. James Zabrowski and Dr. Christian Billing at the University of Hull. I'm a change work therapist, amongst other things, such as an independent film director, and I use eye accessing cues in my work at times. They indicate to me whether somebody is seeing, hearing, or feeling something, and whether that vision or sound is a constructed one or a remembered one. Are they creating it, or are they remembering? This kind of technique has been used for spelling help for people to go into a visual remembered situation. So but the trouble is, neurolinguistic programming, which was the kind of model that eye accessing cues emerged from with Robert Dilts, it's kind of got a very bad reputation. So the thing hasn't moved, even though we're going back to the 1970s here, hasn't really moved forward until around 2000, when the eye movement thing began to be used to alleviate trauma. So in PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorders, it's become very useful over the past 20 to 10 years, and used here in the UK and also in the States with great prevalence. So that means there's now a decent amount of academic and neurological study to base from. So we can use a triangulation method of we have a biological reality to the experience, personal subjective experience, coupled with the aesthetics of the cinema. Can we make something of this? Does it have legs as such? So that's what my study is looking at. This picture in the middle here, Gene Kane in A Letter to Three Wives, Joseph Mankiewicz. So not a massively well-known movie at all, but essentially what we've got here is a demonstration of visual constructed, when in fact the character should be going into a visual memory. The scene dissolves from here to quite an extended sequence of something that happened in the narrative past. So it's very much wrong in that sense. Well, it still works for cinema. No one's that bothered apparently, but there are other occasions that I've spotted so far where it does seem to be very, very in error, not authentic to the character, but more pertaining perhaps to an actor trying to remember their next line, or remember a director's note, or something like that, rather than being engaged in what's happening. So I've got like a 5-phase approach, a 4-phase approach to look at this, because there isn't really any data on what is the everyday usage. My experience and the experience of trained people is that people are using this stuff all the time, and when I point it out, people can recognize the fact that the eyes flick about, but we never really had any information to get something from that communication. What we have in cinema is a wonderful system of, if you're Michael Caine, you look into one eye to keep steady. The editors really enjoy a non-blinking person. So this is trained and it's practiced by actors, and it's very useful to construct and edit in normal mainstream production methods. But it's not accurate. So the point of this work is to see, can I first of all get a standard base rate for everyday usage of eye accessing cues and other cognitive eye movements. I'm beginning to calibrate them. Then compare that to various aspects of narrative cinema, what's happening in films that we know. What does that potentially mean? Is there a way of developing a tool set to enable directors and actors to really get a proper cognitive communication? And the potential for this that excites me is around Lakoff and Johnson's embodied metaphor. The frame of the cinema is a container. This creates a wonderful, strong metaphor. The actual actor's head, this photographically realistic talking head, is also then a container metaphor for the inner mind. So if we can see the person thinking and understand the person thinking, does that help? Can performance actually then present a consciousness almost, or something like that? But first of all, that's down the road. First of all, need to count, and planning to count these cognitive eye movements. Done quite a bit already, but developing those methodologies and perfecting them, and seeing what effect that can have. Cheers. Thank you very much. Any questions?